Aditya, now talking about the ground situation. Take us through with the collaboration and coordination between various security agencies when it comes to tackling terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir.
Well, Pankaj, there has always been swift and smooth coordination between the Jammu and Kashmir Police, the Indian Army, and the CRPF.
Uh-huh.
It is actually the J&K Police and the Indian Army that actually take a lead in the operation, and in the outer periphery we have the CRPF mostly. It's only in Srinagar that we have CRPF, actually robustly part of the operation along with the J&K Police, because the army cannot actually operate in the Srinagar city limits. But in this particular operation, which was in the higher reaches of Kokarnag, of Anantnag in South Kashmir, there were inputs of 3 to 5 terrorists who were hiding in the upper reaches in a forested belt. And once a coordinated search operation was launched there, and senior officers were leading both from the Indian Army and the J&K Police, there was immediate firing on them. There was an ambush in which they got caught. This incident really reminds me of a similar incident that happened in the year 2020 in Handwara of North Kashmir, where we lost Colonel Ashutosh Sharma and Major Sood of the Indian Army in a similar fashion in the initial burst of firing during that operation in Handwara as well. It's a very sad and a tragic moment, not just for the security forces, but for the country and the Indian government. There will be a wreath-laying ceremony that will happen tomorrow, but let's remember that the operation is still underway. It's night, so the situation would be halted mostly in that area, but the cordon is in place, and since first light tomorrow morning, the operation will be resuming. The top officers of the J&K Police, Army, and the CRPF were on the ground in Kokarnad, monitoring the situation very, very closely. But it's a very fluid situation, and also it's important to point out that Pakistani terrorists and ISI has been frustrated with the success of the G20. We didn't see any kind of an event or a terror attack really take place through the G20 or before that. But after that, they have been very frustrated. There are orders of launching these attacks both in Jammu as well as in Kashmir. That's why we saw one operation actually happening
Uh-huh.
in Rajouri, and secondly, this particular operation that's underway right now in the south of Kashmir. There are also intelligence inputs that various agencies have received of at least a few groups of Pakistani terrorists infiltrating into India, particularly from the route of Pir Panjal and Rajouri Punch. And that's how the OGWs are helping them out to carry out these terror attacks and supplying them weapons as well.
Right.
So it's not a new development. It's been happening for years together, but this year particularly has seen a lull. There haven't been many terror attacks or encounters. Only about 35 to 37 terrorists have been gunned down this year in the Kashmir Valley, out of whom majority, more than 28, have been Pakistani terrorists. But this operation is certainly underway. The best of the J&K Police and the Army are stationed there, and I'm sure, as are rest of the country, that the
Right.
operation will end soon and all the terrorists will be gunned down.
Absolutely, Aditya, absolutely. And Lieutenant General Kadian, now talking about, what Aditya mentions, these Pakistani terrorists, at times regulars also. Uh, the tatters situation in which Pakistan is right now, what in your opinion is something that is pushing Pakistan again and again to continue with this sponsoring of terror across the border? Because obviously, is this a diversionary tactic to deviate the attention from the domestic problems, or is it something that has become a state policy for Pakistan?
I don't think it is going to help them, even if it was a diversionary tactics. I don't think it is. The Pakistani army, it is in their DNA to continue to harm India in whatever manner they can. And terrorism is a weapon of the weak. They are not strong enough to take on the Indian army in the field
Absolutely,
openly.
absolutely.
So they have been firing the guns off the shoulders of the terrorists. All the training of these terrorists, their arming, provision of ammunition and finances come from the ISI, which is part of the army itself. So whether political leadership is in line with the army's thinking, I don't know. But they don't have control. Army is all powerful in Pakistan. So as I can reckon, I don't think we can hope that the terror attacks will stop in the near future. Pakistan themselves, we don't perhaps we tend to forget, they themselves are facing massive terror attacks from the TTP. I was reading figures somewhere last month alone. There were 98 terror attacks. They are now attacking only the security forces, army or the police or the paramilitary. They're not targeting civilians. That is in
Right.
the areas bordering Afghanistan. But despite all these problems, the army is raison d'etre. If tomorrow there is peace with India, then people will question why does Pakistan need such a large army? After all, if
Right.
you take the relative ratio between Pakistan army and the Indian army, seeing our size, that we have threat from two sides, they have no threat. The soldier to civilian ratio, their army is 3.5 times more than the Indian army.
Right.
So tomorrow people will question why so much money is being spent on the army. So they have to justify their existence, and creating a
Absolutely.
bogey of a threat from India is the easiest for
Absolutely.
them.
And
They've
we
been
have
doing it in the past, they will continue doing it.
We'll continue. We have seen this in the past. You are absolutely right, sir. We have seen this in the past, and still Pakistan at it. Major General Siwach, your view on this incessant approach that Pakistan has, firstly that, and secondly, obviously Indian forces have time and again, they have rebutted them, given them befitting reply, pushed them back again and again, and I think this will continue in the times to come.
Absolutely. See, as far as Pakistan is concerned, they themselves are now trying to show to the world they are victim of terrorism. But one has to
Yes.
ask them who started the terrorism in the first place. You know, when Hillary Clinton came in 2013 as a Secretary of State, visited Pakistan, she told them very clearly that if you have snakes in your courtyard and you think that they will only bite your neighbor, one day they are going to bite you. And
True,
this is what
true.
happening in Pakistan as on today. But what is Pakistan? That Pakistan is making use of terrorism to as its state policy, and thinking that the Pakistan will mend its ways. I think we can go totally wrong, because there are more than 10,000 terrorists which are still there of Lashkar-e-Toba, Jaise Mohammed. Because Pakistan is again divided into good terrorists and bad terrorists. Terrorists which are operating against India like Lashkar-e-Toba, Jaise Mohammed are good terrorists for them, and they want to pump them inside. And the terrorists like Tariq-e-Taliban Pakistan and Baluchistan Liberation Army are a bad terrorist for them. Now, what has happened is that they were under tremendous pressure because G20 has gone very fine. Article 370 and of 35 abrogated peace is prevailing in Kashmir Valley. There is a lot of tourism which has come. There are IIM, medical college, engineering college. 2 elections have taken place. That in basically district development council panchayat. Now I think China would have also put a pressure on Pakistan to do something in Jammu and Kashmir. So therefore we have to be very alert and alive now. They will start such type of operation. They have already activated an area called Rajouri Punch, which was basically quite peaceful for last 15-20 years. Of course, the southern South Kashmir was active, but of late in last 2 years, you find the terrorism almost wiped out from there. Again, with this operation taking place in higher reaches, it's not a hybrid war, it's a proper operation taking place in higher reaches. It looks like that some infiltration is still taking place in south of Pir Panjal, basically from Punch and Rajouri. So we have to redefine our own strategy. We have to make sure that the terrorists which are left residual, we have to hit. And possibly our strategy of hitting now Pakistan in Pakistan itself. You know, we know that the way the operation of Pulwama was, from Pulwama it was done at Balakot. Now we have got this capability and capacity in terms of Rafale. Also, when we'll get MQ-9 drones, the Raptor. So we have to think of hitting them, because you cannot think that once they will send terrorists, we'll eliminate them. Hit them in their bases only. Strategy has to be changed. Pakistan has to be given the taste of their own medicine.
Right.
One thing is very clear, that every country has army, but in Pakistan, army has a country. The actual power does not flow from Islamabad. It flows from General Headquarters Rawalpindi. What
Right.
General Qadian was trying to convey, I have written one paper on this. You see, Pakistan's size is 1/7 of India. Pakistan population is 1/8 of India. And Pakistan economy is 197th of India. But Pakistan has an army 80% of India. A small country, how is having a big army? It means that they have created an imaginary, artificial threat from
Enemy.
India.
Yes,
And,
yes.
and they are now trying to show to their public. They have been fooling around their public and trying to say that there is a threat which is emerging from India, which is artificial, imaginary, which is not there. So therefore, to think that the Pakistan will mend its way because they themselves are victim of terrorism, they are going through economical crisis, their political instability, and the elections of today, certainly not. We have to be very, very vigilant. We have brought back Jammu and Kashmir. It is on a path of peace, but such incidents will continue taking place.
Definitely.
And sometime you're on a back foot when you lose our brave heart. But certainly we'll bounce back. And these 4 to 5 terrorists which are hidden in the higher reaches, maybe in
flushed
hideout, there have been a proper cordon which have been already launched, and the operation will again start early in the morning tomorrow. I am sure by evening they will be flushed out.